I'm travelling to an assignation, a meeting with old friends. Dick and Declan Kearney have shared past adventures with me. They've brought Scolivar, the old Dutch lady, as far upriver as she can go. Scolivar is a barge yacht. She was built in Holland in 1913 for gentlemen to race in. The First World War put a damper on her sporting debut, but she did spend a decade or two racing across the Dutch inland seas, and was lucky enough to travel to eastern England before the Second World War broke out. From there she sailed to Ireland and cruised our coasts and inland waterways in the late 40s and 50s. In the 70s she was discovered, a rusting abandoned hull in an estuary in County Cork, and lovingly restored to prepare her for a second century. Dick Kearney is also one of the last of a heroic breed, the boatsmen. And his son Declan has, by inheritance and acquisition, many of Dick Kearney's old skills. Dick made the journey from Ballinasloe to the Shannon in the old days, along the now derelict canal. There are plans to dredge the suck, which runs parallel to the old canal line, and put locks on it, so the navigation will again stretch that far, for bigger boats than cots. After the raid on Clonmacnoise, we pushed northwards into the interior of the country. The Shannon current is against us. There's a touch of adversity in the air. We're heading for the town of the crossings, Athlone. No, it's best to arrive by boat and with a thirst, and have the courage to penetrate up dark alleys in search of other strands in the weave of Athlone.
It's a reel, is it?
Yeah, Miss McLeod's.
Miss McLeod's?
Miss McLeod.
I should have brought the box, you could have joined in.
I spent a lot of time quietly picking Dick's brains, feeding off the storehouse of experience and knowledge he's gained from a long lifetime on the water.
Wasn't a bad day's run.
Nice day's run, yes.
We've got the lake tomorrow.
Oh yeah, look great.
You worried about it?
No.
In many ways, he's the ideal companion for a trip like this. Quiet, competent, not given to panic, but fond of a pint and a song.
I'm kind of looking forward to it myself. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Dick Kearney's days are gone. There are no more barge loads of grain and beer on the river, but there is still commerce of a kind. Today the cargo is pleasure, the trade is in enjoyment. We're cold, tired, hungry, but a rumour's kept us going. A rumour of a cosy berth with a floating restaurant run by English people where we can enjoy some 20th century comfort.
There was no place really for the tourists to go, bar up to the pubs. There was no real restaurant for them to go and have a good meal. So Ronnie and Maureen came over from England, and I was talking to them before they purchased it, and they told me what they wanted to do with the place, and it sounded, you know, a really good choice or decision to do, because before they came there was nothing really here for tourists. Oh, mainly German, some French and Dutch and Swiss, and then English, and then the locals from Roscommon or Longford, but they only make up a small proportion of the people that come to eat in the restaurant.
Were you in Lanesborough in the old days?
I was. I first came into Lanesborough in 1941.
During the war?
During the war, yes.
Waynesbury must have looked a bit different in those days.
It was completely different than today.
Was the power station there?
No, no way, no.
Did you have any rough days coming across the lake?
I did one that I remember that I blew onto Equator Island. It was that rough that the diesel oil, the fuel oil went into froth, and we got an airlock. We got blown onto the island. We're there for a night and a day.
A night and a day?
A night and a day we're there all day. And we had no food on the boat, you know. So there was a lot of wild goats out on the island. And we had a butcher working with us, you know. He'd done butchering before he joined us as boatman. And we got a light line and we lassoed a goat, killed it, skinned it, hung it up in the ballast tank. And every so often we'd go back and we'd cut a piece off the goat and fry it in the pan.
Real Robinson Crusoe carne.
More than that. That's right, yeah. They were tough days, they were.
The cockpit of a boat takes on an atmosphere which depends on who's in it and what's outside it. Now we are quiet. Only our eyes move continuously as we absorb the scenery. And as the vistas progress, we start to see things differently. Try not to lose my head, I waltz around the Camlin River bends, getting pleasure from the challenge of it, enjoying boating in the sunshine. It's impossible to really worry about anything on a glorious river, on a glorious day, in good company. If you have something preying on your mind, anything, however weighty, I guarantee you peace and absolution if you open yourself up to an experience as beautiful as this. Irish waterways form corridors of wilderness across the country, narrow strips where birds, animals and plants have it their own way. Dick Carney, Declan and I feel like privileged visitors in someone else's place. We don't say much, maybe something articulate like, "It's great, isn't it?" It is. There's a passage in an old guide to the Shannon which catches the mood. This is a place of quiet contemplation, where the wireless should be turned off, for its sound seems rude and vulgar in the great solitude that encompasses the traveller on every side. I don't think the others took my challenge seriously. From the beginning, they've been a bit suspicious of the cot, which always creates problems in locks and when we go astern. And Dick Carney knows this river a lot better than I do. Something I glimpsed behind his glasses makes me think he already has an idea who is going to win. The angling cot from the estuary of the Shannon is a pure Viking design, still in use after over 1,000 years. And this landscape is very like what those Norse explorers must have seen. Scolivar has diesel horsepower on her side, and there's virtually no current in the canal cut. She has to be the favourite in the race, unless, like Aesop's hare, they get overconfident and stop to take too long a break. When the first Vikings arrived, we had no word for the astonishing new technology of planked boats. so we did the best we could. We adapted the name of our clumsy Irish dugouts and learned to build better craft. The lush, lily-fringed pools basking in summer sun must have seemed exotic to the hardy Scandinavians. I feel the ancestral escorts drawing closer. They're looking for company. Now it's they who are a little lonely. The current's strengthening. My arms ache. Now I need help and inspiration to push on past the point at which, under normal circumstances, I'd quit the whole attempt. The Vikings don't give up easily. I'm starting to think that it's not so much a question of whether I'll win the race, but whether I'll finish at all. I'm hours late and totally exhausted. The race was no contest. I lost. But I still win the prize of privileged insight into hidden times and places. It's hard to explain to them how great the experience was. The strength of the current and the fatigue are easy and obvious. The mysterious sensations trickle through the fingers of vocabulary. Queen Victoria's health is on my mind as I thread the boat up the narrow cut. Or at least, it seems just about as relevant to my present state as the news I overhear on Dick Carney's transistor radio. The soap opera of current affairs, which obsesses us so much, became meaningless many miles downriver. My favorite program now is the weather forecast. I made this journey because I believe that the country I live in is the product of many layers of invading culture. And if you travel properly, it's possible to peel back the layers and establish a very direct contact with ancestral influences. It seems appropriate that our last supper together should be an atavistic meal. We eat as so many generations of river travellers have eaten, by a fire of branches on the shore. And we think back. The Shannon is the river of knowledge. I've navigated up it, looking, searching, questioning. Tried to untangle the complicated ball of wool that knits together to make a modern Irishman. I have travelled through great beauty to some measure of understanding. You cannot ask for more than that.